Our next honoree grew up loving the Montreal Canadiens as a young goalie in Prince George, British Columbia. But he idolized Danny Gallivan as much as he did Ken Dryden. He would go on to be drafted by the Oilers in 1984, played a little with the Oilers, played a little with the Hartford Whalers, but soon realized that his true calling was more Gallivan than it was Dryden. Was part of the Hartford Whalers broadcast team in 95, 96, and then moved to Dallas with the Stars, where for the greater part of the last 30 years, he has been providing endlessly colorful and entertaining and insightful, elephantine, mastodonic, velvety, razorism commentary for Texas hockey fans. 12 Lone Star Emmy Awards plus national accolades for basically every network that has broadcast hockey versus ABC, NBC, ESPN, Hockey Night in Canada, and now the ultimate honor in the Foster Hewitt Memorial Award. I'd like to bring up Chuck Caton from the NHL Broadcasters Association to present the jacket to the great Daryl Reaugh.
And I just quickly want to add my congratulations on behalf of the Broadcasters Association, because this is a very special man to me, and he is truly one of the best. Congratulations, Daryl, and to your wonderful family.
I finally get to take a jacket in instead of let it out. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Chuck. To think you and I got kicked off the Hartford Whalers team bus in 1995 for good, for being too loud. Look at us now. Look at us now. What a jacket to slip on. Thank you all. Before I get to a slew of thank yous, I did want to talk just for a minute about influences, and James touched on it. When you start out in broadcasting, you always ask for some feedback, what you should be aspiring to. And most people will tell you, just be yourself, you know? Try to be original. Not too original, you still want to be employed, but try to be original. And to me, the broadcasters that I adored, two men I now join in having this honor bestowed on me, which is just absolutely surreal, I'd like to talk a little bit about. As a kid, as James mentioned, I idolized Ken Dryden. I wanted to be Ken Dryden. But at the same time, I was absolutely infatuated with the play-by-play legend, Danny Gallivan. I'd be clad in my foam pads, no mask, no cup. I was brave, but I wasn't smart as a kid. They were whizzing semi-frozen tennis balls at me in my driveway on the neighborhood streets in Prince George. And I was Dryden, but Mr. Gallivan's stentorian play-by-play was always running through my head and at times spilling out of my mouth. Yes, I made every save in rapier-like fashion back then. Every glove grab was glittering. My love of powerful and descriptive words really stems from those days, those Saturday nights of my youth. He's why, yes, larcenous and mastodonic and oodles of other wonderful words have peppered our Stars broadcast through the years. Never to make me sound smarter, that was never the purpose with it. It was always just to emphasize the things that were going on the ice and emphasize the players and what they do, and to honor him. The great Harry Neal is the other major influence. He was extremely kind to me when I was first starting out, along with Joe Bowen. They let me stand in that little phone booth of a broadcast booth at the old Joe Louis Arena. There was really room for one. I don't think any of us could fit in there, even singularly. They let me paint myself onto the wall, watch the broadcast. Harry was always a delight. I found it so incredibly adept for him to get in those quips, those one-liners. It never felt forced, never felt shoehorned into the game. And when they landed, you could hear the glint in Harry's eye. And it's because of his influence that when Jamie Benn went through the entire Carolina Hurricanes team and scored, I felt the urge to describe it as being like poop going through a diarrhea-infected goose. And I truly hope Harry appreciated and approves of that. I also get asked many times, like, when my first inclination to get into broadcasting was. I think it was actually when I was playing for the Oilers in the 80s. Playing might be a bit of an exaggeration. Furzy played 75 games that year, won the Vezina. Of course, you're welcome, Grant, all thanks to my patience and ineptness. Anyway, I was trying to endear myself to the rest of the group at our Christmas party. Just trying to fit in some way, some impressions, and what have you. And afterward, Glenn Sather came over to me and suggested that I think about getting into broadcasting and entertainment. It's not exactly what you want to hear from your coach and GM when you're 22 and trying to make it in the NHL. I'm pretty sure Slats didn't mean it that way, but maybe this honor today actually further validates Slats' ability to evaluate talent and see the true talent in me. So many people to acknowledge here today. Thank you, Commissioner Bettman, for being here, and Mr. Daly. Of course, the selection committee. I saw Sam Rosen. There you are, Sam. Bob, Peter, Jim, Rick, yourself. I want to thank each of you. I want to thank you for how much this means to me. It means to me, coming from you, that you think I deserve this. It's flabbergasting. It's truly the greatest honor I've ever had in my life, and likely ever will. On behalf of my family, thank you to Kelly Massey and the Hockey Hall of Fame. Yes, you, Kelly. Thanks for everything. Congratulations to you, Francois. Frankie told me before we came upstairs here that if I do it bilingual, I get more time. Is that true, James? It's not? Je m'appelle Daryl, je joue au hockey. Mon position, gardien de but. Le soirée de hockey, première étoile? No? To the people seated at my tables, especially table 7 back there, start with you. You guys are important people in my life, like extremely important, all of you. And especially considering the weather and the travel, thank you very much for being here today with me. My family, Brad, Kate, at my table, thank you so much for being here and being a part of this with me. Big thanks to the Dallas Stars organization, Stars fans, to the coaches, managers, players over the years. Most of what I have in life and have accomplished in this vocation, I have because Jim Lights hired me in 1996. I just wanted to get a second contract. I'm still here 30 years later. And in the time, I don't think any other franchise in the NHL has won more games than the Dallas Stars have. And there's nothing easier than calling games for a winning team. I represent our fans here today. They're all up here with me. We are in a relationship. We have been for a long time. They are out there, TVs, tablets, phones, radio. I'm on the other side in makeup, bushel of 25-cent words to wedge into the broadcast. We've been linked up for 30 years. Speaking of relationships, I was fully embedded with those late 90s Dallas Stars. I actually practiced more with the team than Eddie Balfour did the year we won the Stanley Cup, trying to save the Eagle for games, I guess. So much so that one day the assembled media asked my old head coach, Ken Hitchcock, his assessment of me in practice, since I was kind of a novelty act, obviously, you know, goaltender by day, broadcaster by night. Hitch, always the astute and sage hockey man, answered in his folksy manner, well, for the first 15 or 20 minutes, Razor looks like an NHL goaltender. The problem is our practices are 45 minutes long, which was fair. My play did tail off some. To all my broadcast partners, starting with you, Jim Ralph, and Gord Stellick, who I know is here, in our rinkside days, what a beginning, huh? Look at us. Unreal. And all the other brilliant booth poodles that I've shared airwaves with through the years, I thank you all for the dance and for putting up with me. We have a phenomenal production team in Dallas. I've benefited greatly from not only their professionalism and their talent, but the continuity. We've kept it together down there. I wish I could mention everyone. I won't. I do want to shout out my boys, though, starting with you, Walshy, Vito, Handsome Johnny. Sound like a mob family or something. Nordy.com, Greg, Red, who's here. I could go on and on. And finally, of course, my family. My wife, Kristen, man, geez. I'll get it. 8 months of the year, you've basically run our house with only half a husband. And then the other 4 months, probably too much husband. Way too much husband. By around month number 4, time for Daryl to get back to work. But this day would not be without you and all the sacrifices you've made for me and for our family. Not a chance. Same goes with my 2 beautiful daughters, Fallon and Kendall. Hopefully the summers, we killed it in the summer. Summers and off seasons together as you 2 grew up, in some way made up for me not being there and being absent. But Daddy had to make bank. Those Juicy Couture trackies back in the day, they didn't come cheap. Okay? All 3 of you, thank you very much for your love, support, and understanding. Again, I apologize to you, James. I know I've spilled over my 4 minutes. I really love what I do. I really do. I always have. And this is just an absolutely sublime honor that you have bestowed upon me. And it just shows me, or you've told me, that you love and appreciate what I do just as much. And I thank you for that. And I thank all of you for indulging me here today. Thanks, everyone.